Let's talk about somebody like Puff. Like Puff right now,
Oh man.
like this guy, I don't know.
He just refused a deal?
I'm not even sure. I got to be honest with you. I'm not keeping up with his story the same way I did with Bill Cosby. I'm kind of looking at his story and I'm going like, does any non-white male, specifically black men that make it to certain levels in film and media and entertainment in general, do they survive Hollywood? Do they survive stardom and fame? Like I have to really scratch my head on that. Like I don't really know.
Well, what do you call survive?
I mean, they walk away from it like in a good space, no crazy scandals of like sexual deviancy that's outlandish, like I know they talk about Little Richie like he was dating younger girls and stuff like that. I hear a lot of things in the air, but it like damages these guys' reputations at the same time. And it's so strange to hear all this.
See, but that's the problem with fame. Right. And that's why I always tell you, I don't want to be famous. I want to be rich. I don't want to be famous. When you're famous, all of the average things do nothing for you anymore. That's why you need things that spark that adrenaline where normal sex used to do it. Now you've got to have, group sex, or you've got to have sex in risky places. And it just keeps driving you. Because one, you don't think rules apply to you because you're famous. And two, since there's so much easy access to everything at that level, all that becomes mundane.
Yeah. You lose that actual
thirst,
just the basic enjoyment of actual, intimacy with somebody, even because most people, once they get caught in that space, once they get stuck in that, man, it's hard to come out of that, man. You got to like detox.
Well, it's addictive. I mean, come on, everything's addictive.
Yeah. No pun intended, ladies. No pun intended.
But that's addictive too, dude. I really do think as humans we all have our own addictions. Some might be healthier than others. Some might be more benign than others. But everyone, if you talk to them long enough, will cue you onto what their addiction is.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure about that. I don't think that's a big problem, though. I think the figuring out what it is and how to handle it, I should say, is the bigger thing. Like, what are you doing to deal with it,
It's knowing your own red flags. When you start to get onto your addictive behavior, you should have at least some processes to get yourself out of that space.
Yeah, there's an author. You actually, I have his book, and I have to get into this book a little bit more. It's his name is Gabor Mate. He's a doctor, and the book is called "In the Realm of Hungry Ghost," and it's a riveting account. Well, basically, let me just say it's a compassionate look at drug addiction by the best-selling author Gabor Mate. Basically, it explores drug addiction and, in downtown Vancouver as well, of all places. And it gives a lot of detail as to what addiction really is, what the body's going through, some historical things such as the war on drugs, alternative medicines and things of that nature that help or may not help. It's an interesting book. And again, another one, I got to dive into it a little bit more and finish that to speak more in depth on it. But it is something that I think is extremely important to actually cover, man. I think that's a conversation we should have. Let's go back into that Puff thing, though. What are you talking about? Like, I don't see that dynamic changing. And this is something that has been a consistent theme. And I say this too, which is this guy, I mean, look, there's no escaping the things that he did, right? If he did them, there's still allegations. And remember, if you take a bunch of girls and say, hey, you ladies want to come with me, we're going to fly to California, and you're in Miami. From what I understand, by law,
right. You are right. If you cross state lines I'm not from experience. I gained the knowledge because of experience, right? I like to know things. So, yes, if you cross state lines to commit any crime, if your intention in crossing the state line is to then go commit a crime, it's automatically a federal offense.
There you go. There you go.
So if you cross the George Washington Bridge to go buy weed, and buying weed is illegal federally, which it is, you've committed a crime, a federal crime.
Interesting. And that's one of the things that I'm wondering about in these cases and certain things that are happening to him right now is like, what is really going on here? Is this a situation that he's really doing something bad, or he didn't know he did it? I'm pretty sure he did a bunch of things messed up. I'm not even, condoning that. But then the other side of it is, you think there aren't a bunch of other white people that are just as powerful as him, if not more, that have done 10 times worse? Like for real? Like, damn. Like,
I mean, some of them have been caught. Some of them are no longer in this country, right? Roman Polanski.
Yeah.
He's accused of doing some horrible shit. What I don't understand is how someone like, I was going to say Woody Harrelson. Not Woody Harrelson. What's the other guy? He's married to his stepdaughter or some shit.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Movie
it's not
producer.
Woody Allen, is it?
Woody Allen, that's it.
Yeah.
Woody Allen. I was going to say Harrelson. I like Woody Harrelson. I hope he's not doing anything weird like this. But like, how do you marry the girl who your wife adopted and raised?
That's crazy.
Like, how is that a thing? Elon Musk's dad is married to and impregnated twice, I think.
Yeah.
His stepdaughter.
Yeah. That's disgusting.
And that's the blood. That's not an adoption. That's, the woman's child. There's a lot of, I know men, I guess, catch the spotlight when it comes to sexual deviance. But there's a reason why. I was gonna say it in Spanish. I was gonna say there's a reason why certain tíos at the party, the girls don't go near them. Right? There's a reason why certain people in the family, everyone tells, keep your kids away from that guy. Right? And it's not to say that there are no women out there doing these things, but by and large, it's us that are fucking that up.
Yeah. But let's take somebody like Robert. What's his name? Man, I can't believe I forgot this guy. Basically, he got caught out there pissing on a little girl.
You're talking about R. Kelly.
Robert Kelly. Now, let's think about this, right? I know. I shouldn't have said it like that, pissing on a little girl, but but
that's what he.
Yeah, that's what he did. That's what he did.
If they can say it on CNN and CBS, we can say it on a podcast.
You're right. You're right about that, man. I didn't feel. What I think was interesting is just the fact that people talk about his sexual deviancy and how disgusting and sick he is, but they don't really ask where that comes from. And that came from the fact that a family member was actually molesting him.
Yeah. Well, but they find that most child molesters were molested as children.
Thank you. So now when you have conversations with people about pedophilia and the first thing they say is we need to kill all those MFers and all that other stuff, it shows that they do feel passionate, and that's okay. That's a good thing to feel passionate. But it also shows that they don't understand the full, magnitude of the problem, because that means that there's something else going on that's causing these things to occur in our communities. And a lot of times there's a level of poverty going on. And then because of that poverty, people lean on what? They lean into drugs. They lean into addiction.
Yep.
And then in that process of leaning into drugs and that type of addiction, I mean, look, we all know most of the things that happen bad, they tend to happen with us under the influence. So
Yeah.
then you do something like, incorrect under the influence, and it definitely was probably there before that, right?
Yeah, but
But
that's the inebriation is
yeah,
what
yeah,
unlocks the gate.
yeah, it's an enabler almost in a sense,
Oh, it's
but
absolutely, that's exactly what it is. It is an enabler.
so there you go into that space now. But I I look at it and I go, we do need to fix them. That I mean, and there's no escaping that. But then there also needs to be a sense of like, hold on, what are we going to do about this occurring and recent occurrence happening over and over again? And what we're going to have to do, the reality of the situation is we're going to have to deal with the fact that this is happening in our communities and why. Like why? And it's poverty. It's a lot of it is poverty and violence put into our communities causing that. And not to mention historically, a lot of the trauma that most people have dealt with, right? I don't know if you ever heard of this book. It's called All God's Children.
No.
It's by Fox Butterfield. It's about the Bosquet family. It's called An American Tradition of Violence. And the Bosquet book, basically, he's talking about the fact that, I don't know if you heard of this, the story about this young cat on the train in New York City. He's the youngest person to like kill somebody and all of that. Like,
Oh shit.
and like he was like just straight insane. You could go on YouTube and look at things. But then what they did, this author, he did an investigation into his family and found
Okay.
that his family had a history of violence. And
Yeah.
then his family's like, and it wasn't like a history of violence of just like the father, it was the great grandfather and the grandfather. And so generation of people in his family exuded this type of behavior. Now, I'm not saying everything is genetic. There is some genetics involved in that and that you do have to put into context. But then the other part of it is the
It's
environment.
nurture as well.
Yeah,
It's
the
nature and
environment.
nurture. But everything is a mix of both, right? Your nature makes you more, gives you predilections to do things. Your environment is what's supposed to temper you against those predilections. But if you're growing up in an environment where norms aren't observed, you're never going to be normal.